If you're a parent, which I'm assuming that some of you guys watching this video are, one of the worst things is when your kid is unwell. I've got a 5-year-old, and since he was born, he's had health issues on and off. Started with colic when he was born, and he's had gut issues at different times, and this is even despite having a healthy diet, right? But he's had different health issues over the years, and we've identified different root causes of that. But he's really been struggling lately, you know, bedwetting, emotional outbursts, sensory stuff, emotions being too much, really largely emotional stuff, tummy pains at points. And we feed him what you would call a very healthy, balanced diet. So we were a bit lost with where to go with this. You know, obviously I'd been on my own health journey with the GAPS diet and carnivore. And we were like, okay, I consulted with one of my practitioners and I said, where do we go with my son's health? We're reacting to these foods. We identified that salicylates were really affecting him. So things like tomatoes, cucumbers, watermelon, coconut water. There's a myriad of foods that are high in salicylates, and I might make another video about that. Let me know if you're interested. But we cut those foods out and made a huge difference. Like overnight, it's like, it was crazy. We felt we'd lost our son. He disappeared. There's nothing wrong with autism or being on the spectrum, but he just had so many intense symptoms that just mimicked a lot of that. And we knew that he wasn't that. It was just like our son disappeared. He wasn't present. He was all over the place. The smallest thing would just affect him so much. It was like, man, where do we go with this? As parents, we were just kind of like giving a bit of hope. We felt hopeless. I felt like a bad dad. It was stressful. So what we did was we decided enough was enough. We wanted to do something about it. Couldn't bear seeing him like that anymore, even though he was eating what you would call, he's eating healthier than most kids on the planet. But it just wasn't working. So we cut out the salicylates, but then we decided to actually start doing the GAPS diet for him, starting with the intro, because my practitioner, she helped kids heal their food intolerances by following the GAPS intro diet. She helped them with their mood, even kids that had neurospicy situations, helped all these kids with all these symptoms that my son was having, 5, beautiful boy, beautiful, bright soul. And he just wasn't himself. So what we did was we put him on the GAPS diet. We cut out, we went into the intro, and it's hard because this little dude loves his fruit, loves his starches, loves his carb, his little carb monster, right? Absolutely love it. He could smash down more blueberries and bananas in a day than I've seen a kid do, right? Absolutely loves the stuff. But we cut all that stuff out because, if you follow my videos on the GAPS diet or check out the GAPS diet, it's pretty strict for the first stage, So he was basically eating broth and meat and some veggies. And that was pretty much it for like a week. And that was really hard. We were like, how do we do this? How do we get an already fussy kid that wasn't a big meat eater at all to eat lots of meat and animal products and broth? So here's what we did. At the start, we said, hey, look, what we're doing with your diet isn't really working. We've got to do something to help you with the health. This diet is going to help tremendously. We've got to take a lot of the things out that you love. Sorry, but that's just what we got to do. This is the only solution that we know of. There are 6 stages in the GAPS diet. What we're going to do is we are going to reward you as you move through the different stages of the GAPS diet. And, there are 6 stages. So what are the things that you would like to be rewarded with to do that? I think it was his mum. I'm shifting the blame on here, but she was like, toys. He loves toys. All kids do. But he was like, okay, I want Hot Wheels this, Hot Wheels that. I want a skateboard. I want a hoverboard. It's like, okay, hold on. Let's just ease up. But we negotiated on different things that he would get if he passed a different stage on the GAPS diet, because then that would show that he was able to be disciplined, really stick to something, and have him something to look forward to, right? Because it's hard, and some of these stages kids will be on for months or even years, I've heard. But it works, eventually it works. It just takes time for some kids. So we're like, okay, as he goes through the phases, we'll introduce new things. So we started on phase 1, and within a couple of days, bedwetting, boom, gone. Brain, overwhelmed sensory, boom, gone. Mood swings completely changed. He was sweet as again. He was like our angel child that we knew, not this like wild child that was just untamable and it was emotionally very challenging to the point it was just like very, very unpleasant. My hat's off to parents that deal with kids that have behavior stuff, that have situations where they do outbursts, where it's like really difficult. Like my hat off to parents, especially single parents. Man, you guys are incredible. right? Because we had a little taste of that. But we got our son back within a couple of days. And then we're like, cool. So we started introducing foods a bit quicker than we thought because, you know, I kind of got sick of all the cooking, just cooking for hours every day because I have my meals, then he has his meals, and then his mum had her meals. So, and then we just tried to do it all together at the same time, you know, to make it easier. So 3 of us on the GAPS diet was tricky. Really tricky, but we moved through the phases from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3 pretty quickly, mainly for his sake. And we didn't stick to it as properly as we could, but it helped him tremendously. But then we started moving through things way too quickly, you know, from stage 3 to 4. Like, he loved the GAPS shake. They were working. He loved having eggs again, the GAPS bread. He was enjoying fat bombs. The way we got him to have broth was we were doing broth races. So whoever could drink the broth the fastest won. Don't recommend doing that from a competitive side. Not really great to bring up your kids competitive in that way, even though I very much am myself. But it helped him to smash broth down, like 3 cups a day of broth. Which is the fundamental of the GAPS diet, the healing. So that was working really well. But then we went a bit too hardcore. We went a little bit more into the full GAPS rather than going through the stages properly. He was having too much fruit. He was starting to have stuff with salicylates. The bedwetting happened. It was nightly, you know, every day. He was starting to wet his bed and, you know, we'd have to change the sheets all the time. Sorry for exposing this stuff. I'm sure you will understand one day when you are older. It is for the greater good of all the kids and parents out there. I'm hoping this is going to be helpful. By cutting out those salicylates again, which we went on this diet to heal, the only thing that he was left on was coconut water. Cut that out, bedwetting stopped. Introduced a sip of coconut water, came back. Stopped. Introduced tomato on a cauliflower GAPS pizza. Came back. So the salicylates aren't working. We are right now we're on like a modified full GAPS version, you know, at the moment, and it seems to be working. It's like a full GAPS without salicylates and with the meat stock. And now we're introducing yogurt, which his body's tolerating. His bowel movements are great. It's fantastic, really exciting because the yogurt and the kefir the probiotics is just super healing. So we're just going to cruise here. We're going to stay steady for a while. His emotions are just so much more stable, but that's also because my emotions are more stable. I've been working on my own emotions, my own personal development, because a lot of the time us parents were like, it's all our kids we need to fix, but often we've got our own stuff that we need to sort. Sometimes we'll have our own demons that are affecting our own kids. You know, unbeknownst to us, we're doing our best, but, you know, perhaps we've been controlling, perhaps we've got some ancestral stuff, perhaps we've got, you know, some kind of issues or mental stuff that's, you know, if we don't deal with it, it gets passed on to our kids. So if we're not sorting ourselves, it's going to affect our kids. So I've been sorting myself out a lot more, and that's been helping him a lot more with his behavior. It's been this real intense journey over the last 2 months, and I'm really, really proud of how far he's come, you know. His outbursts have changed, his anger's changed, he's more balanced, he's more level-headed, he's more cognitive and stuff like that. You know, it's just, I'm so, so proud of him. And we're just sticking with the GAPS diet for now, exactly what I shared, kind of what we're doing. And he's doing well, you know. We'll do another round of intro, again, maybe after the school holidays or during the school holidays. But overall, I think we found a really sweet spot, and we're just focused on a few other areas that we're working on mentally, emotionally, on ourselves and also for him. And they seem to be working quite well, which is really cool. The next steps with that, is like I said, just take it easy, increase the broth, increase the probiotics, and, you know, we're very happy to just hover here for a while. He's very happy with that. If you want me to make a day, I did make a day in the life of what I feed my son on my main channel. You can check it out, link below. But if you want to know, recipes, what we're feeding him and all that stuff, let me know. Let me know what you want to see on this channel. I think that's pretty much it in terms of what's happened. It's been completely transformational for my son, and I wish more parents knew about the GAPS diet, especially parents that deal with kids that have a lot of mental stuff going on, like autism, ADHD, dyspraxia, dyslexia, emotional mood swings, behavior stuff. I've seen so many stories of these things getting resolved by following the GAPS diet. Obviously, each case is different. Some take longer, some require different things, some require more detoxification and that sort of thing. I highly recommend giving it a crack for your kids. At least it helps them move towards more natural, traditional type diet. I'm a big fan of traditional diets. I think GAPS diet is one of the best things out there. You know, it's not restrictive at all. There's so much much that you can have. Yeah, if you got any questions, let me know. But that's been my experience of the GAPS diet with my son, and we're just going to keep plodding along there with that with him. Just see how he keeps growing, you know. But he's really good. Like, if prompted, he will not eat sugar, you know. And he tells people off. He tells other kids off. He told his grandma off. She came around the other day with a nice coffee, and he said to his mum, he's like, "That's really bad," you know. And then she's like, "It's okay, you can tell her." And he says to his grandma, "That's really bad." And he calls her out. And he's even called me out on stuff, like if I was eating too much dark chocolate, he's like, "Dad, like, what are you doing?" You know. And he's called his mum out, and he calls other kids out. And at parties, you know, he knows that if he eats these foods, they're going to affect him. Even his favorite foods. When we reintroduced a lot of the foods that he loved, we went ham on it, right? And he was just like a little addict, a little monster, eating all these foods that were his favorite. But he felt so sick. He was so agitated. He was so overwhelmed. And then he stops it and he's like, "Actually, I don't want to eat those foods anymore because I know how they make me feel." And so now he won't eat foods even if they taste good, because he knows how they'll feel, and he's thriving. Like, he's doing so well now. Like, man, what a journey, man. It's a journey enough to be a parent having health problems when your kids got stuff, especially if they're eating healthy already. Like, we have a very low tox, healthy lifestyle. Just so glad we figured this stuff out. You got any questions? Let me know down below. Being a part of groups like, you know, the GAPS diet group on Facebook and other groups that you can be a part of. Surround yourself with other parents, you know, get support, feedback, work with a practitioner. You do not have to do this alone. Maybe you can do cook-ups, meal prepping and everything like that. Family is lucky, and the dude is lucky that I enjoy cooking. Recently I've been a bit burnt out and a bit bored of it, but typically I do enjoy cooking and love cooking for multiple times a day. I work from home, so it's easy. Don't know how people do it with jobs, you know, where they have to go and be more prepared. Like, it's been really grateful for the opportunity. But if you do everything right, then it can be life-changing. And I think, what if we all got to parent together as parents and we did cook-ups together, right? And we just, I don't know. There's got to be a village mentality that we can approach this gut healing stuff, you know? I'd love to even be able to just, you know, I see a lot of parents struggling with time and money because it's not cheap, you know, doing the GAPS diet versus with like nourishing grass-fed organic meats and products and, you know, fermented foods. It's much cheaper to eat plant-based crap than eat animal-dense nutrient foods. So it's like, how do you fund that? How do you financially support that? I'd love to just, like, I don't know, start a foundation or donate money once this channel makes money. And I'd love to just like give back to families every month or something, you know, sponsor someone, even just gift vouchers or something, because it's hard work. Or even just go to people's houses and just cook for them, or pay for someone to cook for them for a month and just have food in the freezer. Just the amount of time and mental space it'll free up. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I think about in regards to this, and I'm sure I'm not the only person. I'm sure there's a lot of solutions. My main solution, like, I was really like, I've got to help all the children with the gut health of the world, but my mission is really around regenerative farming. That's where I want to go. So I don't know, maybe we can work together on this. Maybe we can partner, maybe we can do things. I don't know, but wanted to share the journey. Hopefully it helps one person at least with, whatever. And if it does, if any of my testimonies around this stuff has helped you or has inspired you, please let me know. Yeah, appreciate you. Happy gut healing.